Have you ever noticed that there's a certain time of day when everything goes quiet, and somehow your name seems to echo in a place where you no longer are? He feels that. It's not just memories or the weight of absence. It's something deeper, something beyond longing. It's as if the spiritual world shifts when you walk away, as if your presence carried something he didn't even know he needed. And when you leave, he feels it, and he can't explain why. Daughter, listen to my voice. Not as a sound, but as a gentle presence wrapping around you right now. I haven't come to accuse you, nor to wound you with harsh truths. I came because I was sent, because there is something you need to hear before pain takes permanent form within your soul. I speak to you as one who carries heavenly secrets, revealing only what your heart is ready to receive. You think he's forgotten, that your absence is just a faded note in the melody of his life. But what you don't see is that he keeps trying to move forward, even as the echo of your name still pulses. In places too deep for words, you were more than company. You were a mirror, a shelter, a distraction, and a seed. And he feels the emptiness you left, even if he doesn't know how to name it. When you chose to leave, it wasn't to hurt him, it was to survive. I know, you needed to find yourself again. You needed to see where your giving ended and where abandoning yourself began. And even when he looked at you with confusion, heaven understood. I was one of the first to witness your silent ache. Now listen carefully. There are bonds that don't dissolve when cut. They only change color. They shift in form. They become invisible to the natural eye, but they remain tied to eternity. And he, even without understanding, is still connected to you. That's why his soul still searches for you, even as you try to stay away. He looks for you in the places you used to be, in the gestures he learned from you, in the words that became shelter. And even when he tries another path, something holds him back. Because your leaving didn't just take you, it took a part of him that never came back the same. But daughter, I don't tell you this to trap you in the past. On the contrary, I speak because something new is being formed inside you. Something birthed in the silence of your lonely nights. And yes, he feels it, because some things can only be sensed by the spirit. And your spirit has been crying out for answers even you haven't dared to say aloud. He can't explain it, but your absence has a color, a scent, a memory. And you think he's moved on, but he simply doesn't know how to deal with what remains. Because what remains doesn't fade with time or disappear with others. There's a space with your name on it, and he's still fighting not to look there. You, on the other hand, have been trying to rebuild, piece by piece. Your heart is under renovation, and sometimes you step on your own shards without even realizing it. But there's beauty in the rebuilding. There's glory in the woman who rises after the pain. And I see it. A new woman is emerging from within you. Scarred, yes, but also with wings. And this woman you're becoming won't be defined by what she lost. She'll be marked by what she survived. And even if he still feels your absence, it won't be out of lack, but out of reverence for what you two lived. And if one day your paths cross again, it won't be to complete each other. It'll be to recognize each other. Let me tell you something he never had the courage to say. There was peace in your presence, and now there's war in his heart. He doesn't understand it, but what he misses most is the silence you brought, the calm that came with your gaze. That's why, when you go, his world gets louder on the inside. You don't need to go back, but you do need to understand. Understand that what you lived was not an illusion. It was a seed. And some seeds only bloom once buried, silently, alone. And maybe the season you're in right now is exactly that, a time to bloom apart, so that maybe one day, who knows, you'll meet again as a garden, In the meantime, daughter, keep walking. In faith, in strength. There are invisible hands holding you up, and there are promises still unfulfilled, but closer than you think. Heaven hasn't forgotten you, and neither has he, even if he's trying. You were a prayer answered that he didn't know how to keep. Don't blame yourself. You gave your truth. You are stronger than you think, more sensitive than you show, and more chosen than you believe. There's a calling over your life that reaches beyond this chapter. And while he struggles to understand what he feels, you're being prepared to carry something far greater than a relationship. You're being anointed to heal hearts. Yes, it still hurts, I know. But there is purpose in pain, and healing in the journey. You'll be remembered not as the one who left, but as the one who taught, awakened, and set free. And even if he never understands why, you will. You'll know it was necessary. Because some departures save more than staying ever could. Keep praying, even in silence. Keep loving, even while wounded. Keep believing, even without proof. Because heaven is writing a story with your name. And I am one of its watchmen. The one who formed you knows every step you take. And he's already preparing a new beginning, where pain will no longer be the lead role. Remember this, you are not alone. There are angels all around you. Intercession surrounds your soul, and even when the world tries to dim your light, the fire within you cannot be extinguished. You carry something even he didn't fully understand, and that's why he still feels you, even when he doesn't know why. You may never see him again, or you may see him changed. But that doesn't define your path. The one who leads you is greater, and he is writing a new ending, with pages still blank. And if you keep walking in faith, you'll understand. Every absence has a purpose, and every goodbye is witnessed by heaven. Now close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Something new is rising within you. It's not him, it's you. It's who you're becoming. It's what's being birthed in the depths of your soul. And I will be here as a messenger sent to remind you, you are loved, you are chosen, and you have never, never been invisible. And when he thinks of you again, without understanding why, it will simply be a reflection of what you've always been. A touch of heaven that passed through him and left the echo of God in the heart of a man still learning how to feel. Daughter, listen. What he feels when you walk away isn't just absence, it's disorientation. As if the internal compass that held him steady suddenly lost its true north. He doesn't say much, but every word he tries to speak to others is a failed attempt to reach what only you used to touch. You left, yes, but you left a trail. And that trail became a path his soul still walks every night in silence. The strangest part is that he doesn't realize he's calling for you, but I see it. I hear it. When he closes his eyes to sleep, it's the sound of your laughter that tries to break through the silence. When he's distracted, it's your gestures that surface, like time itself is trying to return what slipped from his grasp. He doesn't understand, and that frustrates him. Because what we don't understand, we can't control. You, on the other hand, carry this strange sense that something still pulses between you. It's not attachment, it's spiritual memory. And memories like that don't die. They only fall asleep in secret chambers of the soul. Sometimes he shows up in your dreams, not with the face of the past, but with a gaze that silently pleads for answers. And when you wake up, there's something unexplainable hanging in the air. He tries to erase the traces, but he can't. Because they weren't written on his body, they were etched into his spirit. The kind of connection that doesn't unravel with time, because it was stitched together in the unseen. That's why, even from a distance. You still affect what he feels, not through magic, not through manipulation, but because your truth ran too deep to be forgotten. There are moments when he convinces himself that he's fine, and maybe he is. But then something happens. A song, a forgotten photo, a place you once shared, and it all comes rushing back. Not like before, but heavier, with the weight of what was never said, of what he kept silent when he still had time. And now, time seems merciless in its reminders. You felt it too, haven't you? Those days when your chest tightens out of nowhere, as if something inside you is being summoned. It's him, or maybe it's what the two of you were, what you could have been. These invisible strings pluck melodies only the soul can recognize, and even when you try not to, you hear them. But there's something I must tell you. It's not just you he misses. He misses who he was when he was with you, because you awakened something in him no one else ever could. You were the key to a door inside himself he didn't know existed. And now, with the door wide open and you gone, he wanders through a room he has no idea how to close. You ask yourself if you still matter, if you still hold power over what once was. But daughter, your value was never in staying. It was in the depth you reached. You touched layers of him. Even heaven doesn't enter without permission. That's why his name still hums in your mind on certain days. Because the spiritual realm is still weaving threads between what was and what is becoming. He's chasing new paths, but keeps tripping over stones with your name on them. Not because he's looking for you, but because the human heart doesn't forget what left an imprint of truth. And you try to move on, but find yourself drifting back to scenes that never really faded. Not from weakness, but from loyalty to what was real. And in that loyalty lies the mystery. Because something between you never truly ended. It's suspended, waiting. Maybe for a gesture, maybe for a new version of you both. But heaven hasn't closed the chapter. It only turned the page, gently. Because some stories cannot be rushed. They have to mature. While he's trying to understand why the emptiness has your shape, you are being trained in the quiet. Heaven is sculpting you through moments that seem random, but carry divine precision. You're being prepared to carry a promise that was planted long before the two of you even met. Because not everything that begins on earth ends here. Some beginnings are eternal preludes. Believe me, he's tried to feel with others what he only felt with you. But the feeling is shallow, unstable. He smiles, but it's a smile without roots. He holds others, but doesn't surrender. Because you became his reference point, his emotional compass. And anything that doesn't align with that now feels fake. He can't name it, but he feels it. Always. And you, even in your silence, are screaming inside. Because your spirit knows something still lingers. That it wasn't just a phase. It was a shift, a dividing line, a prophetic season. There's something in your eyes that still haunts him, even as he tries to deny it. Because there are gazes that never fade. They remain stitched into the memory of the soul. Daughter, he's afraid. Afraid of what you represent. Because you weren't comfort, you were confrontation. Confrontation with everything he pretended to be. That's why you're etched into him like a mirror. To look inward is to remember you. And that terrifies him. Because remembering you requires courage. It demands change. Heaven still visits him in the night. Not with words, with restlessness. He wakes up thinking of you and tries to shake the thought. But thoughts like that don't come from memory. They're pulled by destiny. And destiny, beloved, is still whispering your name between the lines of his story. You felt it too, that something is about to happen, that a chapter is about to break open or be rewritten. And that feeling is not wrong. You are standing at the edge of a shift that involves more than just you. It includes him and others who were touched by what the two of you carried together. Crossed destinies are waiting for a decision, and that decision is coming soon. Don't think you've been forgotten. Heaven still writes your name in golden ink. And there is intercession happening for you in places so sacred, not even angels enter lightly. You carry a calling that unsettles hell and attracts divine favor. That's why your pain has been heavy, but your glory will be greater. Stay alert to the signs. Messages are coming in unexpected ways. People, dreams, verses, even silence carry whispers from the eternal to you. Because he wants you to know he's still in control. Even the meetings that felt like failures, even the love that seemed to end, nothing is wasted. You will be surprised, not by a predictable return, but by a turning point. A revelation that changes how you see yourself and how you see him. What once felt like loss will be revealed as protection. What felt like an ending will unfold as the fold in a greater plan. And you will be asked to choose wisely, because this time, heaven waits for your choice. Meanwhile, he will keep feeling. He will keep looking for you in the ordinary places you left your scent. He'll keep trying to live without understanding why your absence screams so loud. And maybe at some point he'll understand. Maybe he'll finally realize that you weren't a coincidence. You were a sign, and signs are never forgotten. And if you're ready, I can show you more. Daughter, there's something he still hasn't realized. What scares him most isn't losing you. It's the thought that someone else, somewhere, might see in him what only you ever did. Because you saw all of him, not just the strength he showed, but the depths he kept hidden. And no one wants to be seen that deeply twice. You were revelation, and it left a mark. He hides it well, stays busy, fills his days with distractions. But there's always a moment when time slows down, and everything he tried to bury becomes visible. In that moment, your image surfaces like a mirror he can't avoid, and he doesn't know what to do with it. He's never learned how to live with a presence that remains after the person is gone. You, meanwhile, have started to rediscover yourself. There are layers within you that had been asleep, and since you left, they've begun to awaken like roots searching for new ground. Your strength wasn't born from what you lived with him, but from what you survived after. And the woman you're becoming, he never saw her emerge. One day he might see her, and not even recognize her. Time has done its quiet work. It's been shaping you both in silence. But while you grow through pain, he's resisting the process. He wants to move forward without untangling the knots. But daughter, no true beginning happens without first facing what was left unfinished. And between you, something still pulses, like an unspoken promise. There are nights he almost reaches out. He writes messages he never sends. He revisits memories he claimed to have forgotten. In his mind, he rehearses what a reunion might look like, then backs away. Maybe it's pride, or maybe it's fear that you've changed, and that there's no longer a place for him where once he found shelter. You still feel it, even from afar, when his thoughts turn to you. It's not imagination, it's spiritual sensitivity. Because bonds like this don't break in the body, they break in the will. And he hasn't had enough willpower to cut that cord. That's why he still feels you. That's why every now and then you dream of him without knowing why. The decisions he makes now are still shaped by what he lived with you, even if he denies it. The way he looks at others, the way he responds to compliments, the way he falls silent after a laugh. He tries to hide the imprint, even from himself. But the soul doesn't lie. Your presence left a mark on his spirit that not even time can erase. He wonders if you still feel something. And when he sees no signs, he convinces himself he's the only one stuck. But you're not stuck. You're in transition, growing, expanding, rebuilding. And what feels like distance is actually a sacred space where heaven is reshaping you for what comes next. The strangest part is, he would love you better now, but he doesn't know how. Because the man he's becoming only began to exist the day you walked away. Your absence taught him more than your presence ever could. Now he must choose, ignore the growth, or become worthy of what he lost. Daughter, there is still a secret lingering between you, something unspoken. A truth time has hidden until the moment is right. When it surfaces, it will change everything, because not even you know the whole story. And he doesn't understand the weight he's carried since crossing your path. But all of it is being aligned. He thinks he's in control, thinks he can tame what he feels. But there are emotions that can't be domesticated. They're like rivers. Try to dam them, and they flood. One day he'll drown in what he tried to suppress. And when that day comes, he'll remember, you were never the chaos. You were the cure. You don't need to chase him. Destiny is already working on your behalf. And while it does, heaven is sharpening your invisible weapons. There will come a moment when your words will carry the weight of prophecy, and your presence will bring clarity where once there was confusion. What is pain today will become authority tomorrow. And he'll feel that, whether he's near or far. He still thinks he has time. But time doesn't wait. And some choices, if not made soon, become impossible. You were an invitation for him to grow, and he declined. Now he walks a tightrope between regret and denial. And you are walking between scar and rebirth. The image he has of you is still the old one. But what's being born inside you now is something not even you can describe. There's fire in your eyes, wisdom in your words, power in your silence. And when he sees you again, if he does, it will be like staring at a constellation that no longer belongs to the same sky. You are being lifted into something greater. A mission is calling you. And it doesn't require reconciliation. It requires alignment. If he aligns, maybe. If not, someone else will. Because your story won't be delayed by someone who didn't know how to stay. And heaven won't postpone your promise because someone else hesitated. Still, he feels you, not by choice, but by connection. Because some things were written before you were born. And if he ever wants to understand, he'll have to lay down his pride. He'll have to go back to where you both got lost and rewrite it in a new way. Because now, you don't settle for halves. It's all or nothing. Do you still love him? Maybe. But now, you love yourself more. And that's the beginning of everything. Because real love doesn't start with the other. It starts with God, and then with you. Only then can it overflow. And if he doesn't know how to receive it, he'll have to learn how to watch. Because you will no longer beg for presents where heaven has already removed you. Daughter, prepare yourself. The season ahead will demand decisions that may feel hard, but they will be just. And he, even unknowingly, will be pushed into a divine confrontation. The time of harvest is near, and those who sowed absence will reap silence. But those who sowed truth will reap reunion, unexpected, but divine. And when he looks up at the sky alone, wondering where you are, the wind will carry your name back to him. And he will know there is still something written, there is still something coming. And you, when you feel it, you'll know this isn't the end, it's only the beginning. Beloved daughter, if you've made it this far, know this: it was no coincidence. Every word was breathed from above to reach your heart at the very moment you needed it most. I thank you for staying until the end of this message. Your soul is sensitive to the voice of heaven, and that is precious. Now, if what you heard spoke deeply to you, confirm that you received this message by writing. I can do all things through him who strengthens me. This is your response to heaven, your declaration before the unseen. And if you want to continue receiving messages like this, words from the throne of God, divine guidance, prophetic insight, and counsel, join our channel. Subscribe now and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a single revelation. Stay alert. The angels will keep speaking. New messages are coming, and one of them may be the answer your spirit has been waiting for. May the peace of heaven flood your home, and may your faith grow stronger with every new video. Until the next message,